Scott, like minutes before kickoff, it was finally announced that he put pen to paper and signed a massive 4-year, $240 million extension, which, by the way, shame on the Dallas Cowboys for paying him that much money because he is not that good.
You see, that right there, that is the difference between who dat and who Dak. We don't just come on here and talk out the sides of our neck. We don't come up here and display our ignorance and our lack of IQ as it pertains to talking about football, even though we're supposed to have a channel dedicated to informing an audience about football. You see, unlike Saints Chat Report Sports, we actually do our research. And I'm bringing a whole new element to the show with NFL Pro Statistics, where we're going to be able to dive into the film room, take a look at some advanced next-gen stats, and really get to understand our opponents ahead of our games and our weekly previews. Let's get right into it. As I'm telling y'all right now, the New Orleans Saints, this is not a team that we should automatically be looking at and saying, oh, this is a guaranteed win. This Cowboys team, I believe, is supposed to beat this Saints team, but that's strictly based on what I believe this Cowboys team actually is. Has nothing to do with the lack of competitiveness of this Saints team. Because guys, the Saints, they have some new blood in town. And that new blood just happens to be from a coaching tree that is traditionally given the Cowboys fits. Let's get right into it as we get geared up for Cowboys versus Saints in week 2. All right, guys, first thing we're going to take a look at here is obviously going to be the Klint Kubiak connection. Klint Kubiak is the new offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints, and this is his second year as an offensive coordinator. Keep in mind, 2021 just also happens to be one of Kirk Cousins' best years as a pro as well, and that's probably because he was in that Shanahan-type system that Klint Kubiak runs. So this already is going to be an excellent test for the Dallas Cowboys. This is kind of like a nice tune-up for that bigger matchup down the road with the actual 49ers and the real Kyle Shanahan, right? But Klint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator of New Orleans Saints, and the Saints did almost hang fitted on the Panthers. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this and get this out the way right now. I am not going to be as ignorant as everybody else and look at all the big stats and big numbers that they put up against the Panthers and act like that is going to be a sustainable level of production, because it's not. It was against the Panthers, and I think the Panthers may struggle to win a game this season because their quarterback is absolutely terrible, and I don't think they have any clue what they're doing as far as building that roster. But either way, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this because we still learned some interesting things in the Saints' first game under Klint Kubiak. Understand, we really only have one game to look at as far as what Klint Kubiak is going to be presenting to us in this upcoming matchup against the Saints. The Saints aligned under center more than any other offense in week 1, 61%. While using play action on over a third of dropbacks for the first time since signing Derek Carr, which is 39%. So that right there tells me that they're going to have to adjust their game plan a little bit. You're not going to be able to employ that same type of game plan against the Cowboys in this pass rush and this defensive line. If you do that, you're going to get smashed because you're going to be depending on Derek Carr to process what is happening with that double A-gap mug. You're going to be depending on Derek Carr to be able to get to the top of his drop back, scan the field, go through his reads before Michael Parsons is able to get there and rip his head off. They're not going to be able to do that. I suspect that we see them come from under center a little bit more in this matchup against the Cowboys. If they have Derek Carr working from under center a lot in this game, I believe that is a mistake. That's just me personally, though. Last season, the Saints ranked dead last in play action usage, 39%, and bottom 6 in motion rate, 45%. The Saints aligned in two-back formations on a league-high 37% of plays in week 1 compared to just 6% in 2023. All right, so again, two-back formations, Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. Remember, Kyle Shanahan likes running those type of formations as well. You'll see Chris McCaffrey and Kyle Juszczyk in the backfield a whole bunch if you're watching the 49ers. Another key change was their usage of condensed formations, 53%, nearly doubling their rate last season. All right, so again, those are some of the key changes that Klint Kubiak has made with this team already, with the offense that we could see from week 1. Now, just like Mike Zimmer didn't get to show everything that he got in his bag, he said he had like 50-something sets, only got to show like 2 or 3 of them. I'm sure Klint Kubiak got a lot more in his bag that he didn't need to show because the Panthers suck. All right, we got to keep it a buck, man. We got to look at it from both sides. The Saints still got a lot of tricks in their bag. I promise you, they didn't have to use all of them against the Panthers because the Panthers suck. Okay, say it with me, because the Panthers suck. We got to really, really hedge everything that we're seeing right here with the Saints because the Panthers suck, y'all. So I think that honestly, people probably got a little bit more dip on their chip with the Saints than what they may need to have because the Panthers suck. Okay, y'all been saying it with me at this point, I hope. All right. Another interesting stat as far as the defensive side of the ball goes is the Saints use a league high, or second in the league high, 45% press coverage rate in week 1. All right, again, that could just be because the Panthers suck. All right, so it's possible they come out, and because we have CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks and maybe Jake Ferguson, maybe not, we're going to talk about that in a second, but because we have some actual weapons and a real quarterback, maybe they won't come out and play that much press because honestly, that's going to give Dak plenty of chances to kind of take some shots there. And that's going to put their corners, especially a rookie corner in Kool-Aid McKinstry, Marshawn Lattimore is nursing an injury. That's going to put their corners in a bad position because if you're pressing CeeDee Lamb, that boy put on 15 pounds of muscle for a reason. He waiting for an opportunity to flex them joints, I promise you. And again, Kool-Aid McKinstry did replace Marshawn Lattimore, right cornerback, after Lattimore left in the third quarter of the week 1 matchup against the Panthers. McKinstry allowed just 1 reception for 5 yards on 3 targets as the nearest defender with 17 coverage snaps. All right, so he played decently. He came in and he played decently. Now, something that I thought was interesting is the Saints injury report this week. Remember, the Browns were without their starting tackles against the Cowboys, and we saw how that turned out. The Saints are in danger of not having their starting tackle as well as Talise Fuaga, their rookie that they drafted this season. He's nursing a back injury, and going up against DeMarcus Lawrence and Marshawn Nealon and Micah Parsons, you don't want a leaky back, man. So I'm looking at that to be an area of opportunity for the Cowboys. We may see some big sack numbers again because their starter could either end up not playing or they're going to have a backup out there, or the dude just might not be at 100%. And that is going to be a major area of opportunity for the Cowboys. Marshawn Lattimore nursing that hamstring injury. He did not practice on Thursday either, so there's a chance that he may not make the game either, but we'll have to see until the official injury report for the actual game comes out. Now, as far as kind of looking at what the Saints really were doing against the Panthers here, we actually got some film room shots here. We can actually kind of see how their touchdowns happen. Derek Carr was taking shots, y'all. All right, he completed a deep pass down the middle to Rashid Shaheed for 59 yards. So more than likely, we're going to see some shots get taken against this Cowboys defense, especially if he has time to let the play develop. You see right here, I don't know if he's going to have that much time. It looks like he had plenty of time to kind of be able to get to the top of his drop, set up, and then make that throw. I don't know if he's going to be that comfortable in that pocket against the Dallas Cowboys. Here's another one of their touchdowns. This is Derek Carr passing up the middle, a short pass right here, and this is going to be to Moreau. All right, so again, he was able to string out the play for a long time. That one right there, that was kind of dangerous. That, to me, is more of a product of the team you're playing against being a little bit poo, right? You can see right here, he strung that play out for a long time. Dudes are running at him half speed. The Panthers look like they had gave up, y'all. The Panthers look like they didn't want to be out there, man. All right, so here's another one. Derek Carr passed deep right to the middle for Johnson for 16 yards. Oh my gosh, the dude is wide the freak open. Hey man, I'm telling you right now, if they score like this against the Cowboys, heads are going to roll. Man, Mike Zimmer is not having this. This right here, this is why I say they played the Panthers, and say it with me, y'all, the Panthers suck. So this is really the big reason why I'm not really too concerned with this game. Yes, I think this is going to be a nice test. This is going to be a nice first little tune-up test against one of the boy wonders out of that Shanahan coaching tree with Klint Kubiak. I think this is going to be a nice little like primer to see what this team is going to look like against that type of system, right? So yes, this is a great game for Cowboys fans because it's going to be interesting from that perspective. As far as should it be competitive, no, this Cowboys team is supposed to be way better than this Saints team, y'all. I'm not going to fool ourselves here. This game should be a 2-touchdown game. This should be a 2-score game. If this is a 1-score game, if this is a nail-biter, then in my opinion, that means something went horribly wrong, whether it be the defensive side of the ball or the offensive side of the ball, and there were some turnovers or something. But beyond that, this game should be a 2-score game. It should not be close. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way to the Saints. I'm saying that coming from someone that truly believes this Cowboys team has some juice, man. And they really have what it takes to put something together here this year. And everything just kind of feels right. Everything just feels right this season. Maybe it's a little bit my fan talking, but just looking at the film, looking at the pieces in place, looking at what this team is and kind of how they've built this thing, and just looking at how we're set up, something just feels right about the season for the Cowboys. So I just truly believe the Saints, this type of team, they should not be someone that can really come out and play with you. I don't care how many points they put up against the lowly Panthers. It's the Panthers. I mean, you look at this man, Derek Carr put up nearly a perfect quarterback rate against the Panthers. He had 142.5 QB rating, 82.6% completion percentage, had a 16.3% completion percentage over expected, which is ridiculous, bro. And I'm sorry, you just can't expect the Saints to keep up that type of production. And I don't think it's going to happen, man. And there's one thing you need to know about Klint Kubiak is he is going to feed his dogs. He is going to make sure that Alvin Kamara is testing us. Klint Kubiak is going to absolutely try to ride Alvin Kamara similar to what the 49ers do with Christian McCaffrey. That's something that the Cowboys are going to have to be tested with again this week. So again, we're going to get to see a couple of things here. We're going to get to see how the Cowboys go against a team that's going to be trying to run the ball with intent and is going to be using their running back in a variety of ways. And we're going to get to see how this Cowboys team looks against a Kyle Shanahan coaching tree, right? So very, very interesting matchup here for the Dallas Cowboys. There's a lot of excitement within the Saints community as far as their offensive coordinator, Klint Kubiak. But again, I think this Cowboys team is going to pull this out. I think the Cowboys defense is going to flex their muscles a little bit here. And I think we end up seeing a complete flip script here for the New Orleans Saints. I think that we see the Cowboys win this game probably, I'll say 34-17 is what I'm going to call here. 34-17 in favor of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, something super interesting about the Saints is they like to blitz a lot. And what's even more interesting is that Dak Prescott is one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league, in dealing with the blitz. So if the Saints employ that defensive strategy, that right there is going to be a major factor as to why I think the Cowboys are going to hang another 30 burger on another team that they're supposed to beat. The Saints are blitzing on 33.3% of dropbacks against teams, and that is an extremely high number. For reference, the Cowboys are only blitzing about 21% of the time as of last week. So the Saints, they're doing a lot of blitzing, y'all. A whole lot of blitzing. And they giving the opposing quarterback 3 seconds to throw the ball, even under those circumstances. So 3 seconds, that's way too long for a quarterback like a Dak Prescott. I think Dak, CD, Brandon Cooks, probably Zeke, I think most of the guys on the team are going to have a solid day against the Saints. Would not be surprised at all to see Dak come back, bounce back. He was disappointed about the game he had against the Browns, even though he had played a really solid game. I give him B+ for the game he had against the Browns. No turnovers, top defense, remained in control. That was exactly what you needed from him. Let your defense dominate that game. I think in this game, we see Dak Prescott come back with a 300-yard, 2-touchdown type of game. CD gets his first 100-yard and touchdown game of the season, and we'll see the Cowboys roll this. Book it. All right, that's what I think. But either way, let me know down in the comments below, what are your predictions for this game against the New Orleans Saints? As far as the Cowboys go, injury-wise, Jake Ferguson, he seems like he's okay. If I were the Cowboys, I would let him rest for the game next week. We got Baltimore next week. I would let Jake Ferguson rest in this Saints game. make the offense kind of go through some different options here, get some other guys involved, maybe activate a Ryan Flanoy or somebody like that, right? Get some other guys involved, get some other guys some burn, and let Jake Ferguson get that knee fully healthy. It's just a bone bruise, but you never know what can happen with that type of thing, the stability in that knee as far as he gets hit the wrong way or whatever it may be. Get that man healthy so he can get ready for a real run here this season, right? But beyond that, everything else looks to be okay with the Cowboys. Marshawn Nealon had a calf thing going. He was a limited participant in practice. We really don't have any word whether or not he's going to miss the game or not. I doubt he misses the game. I really hope he doesn't because we don't have a lot of depth right there, so that would be an issue. But beyond that, how about them Cowboys? See you guys on the
calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.